Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam, and this is a leatherleaf viburnum called Cree. For those of you who aren't familiar with leatherleaf viburnum varieties, they have beautiful, leathery, long, evergreen leaves that are quite striking all the time, and they're very leathery to the touch. That's why it's called a leatherleaf viburnum. Been around for a long time. This variety, Cree, was introduced by the National Arboretum. It's a more compact plant, a little easier to keep it under control, and also quite a bit more cold hardy. My experience with leatherleaf viburnum is in very cold winters. Sometimes they can be almost deciduous. They'll lose quite a few of their leaves over the course of the winter, and this one just seems to come through every winter like a champ. And I had a very bad winter this year, and it's already putting on some new growth even in very cold weather. They'll flower pretty soon. About 1st of May for me in zone 7, probably a little later if you're in more northern areas. This will grow in zones 5 to 8, so it's very cold hardy, covers quite a bit of area. The main thing I like about these, other than the fact that you get these beautiful white flowers and then you get a red berry on it in the fall that becomes a little shiny blackberry that's kind of persistent through the winter, other than all those things, and it being pretty resistant to most disease and insect problems, I use these, and I've used them in the past, as screening plants where I didn't want something that looked like a big green ball or a perfect little formal Christmas tree, where I want something that has a little bit more of a wild look to it, but it stays evergreen, and it will serve the purpose of screening without looking so formal. And I've cleared out some trees over here on the west side of my yard, and I need something to go in there. I've created a situation where I can see through my wooded space now, and I can see my neighbor's house quite clearly. So I want to put something in there that'll get 8 or 10 feet, and this variety will get somewhere in the 8 to 10 foot high and 8 to 10 foot wide range, and look like it kind of blends in to the woods a little bit, and look like it was meant to be there and was growing there naturally. I don't want to line up little formal balls right through the middle of my wooded space, because I actually own the property, behind where it's going as well. So I just kind of want something, like I say, to block this house out a little bit, but not be formal. And this is an absolutely perfect plant for that. It makes a great backdrop to anything else you were planting that was formal in front of it. Great in open space. The winter wind will really work on leatherleaf viburnum, but this variety, Cree, would be one that I would select and not worry about too much being, with the wind slamming it in the winter and doing a lot of significant damage to it. Another issue with this, it probably wants well-drained soil, and I don't have that at all. So when I plant this thing, I'm going to mound it up a little bit. I'm planting it in the late winter or early spring, so it's time to fertilize it. I'll throw out some plant tone. Holly tone would work if you have that as well. Something that's slow release. I use a slow release organic fertilizer. You can use whatever you like to use, but it is time to do that in the early spring. Where I'm putting this, it's going to have some root competition from some trees. So I'm going to water it in well when I plant it, and I know that this is a plant that I'm going to have to kind of keep an eye on because of the root competition that's going to be, plaguing it permanently. So probably a few times every summer, I'll probably go over with a water hose and just drown the space around it. I get normal rainfall in my area. If you don't, you probably want to put it on some sort of irrigation system if you were letting it compete with trees like I'm doing. Leatherleaf viburnum is a full sun to part shade plant. The area that I'm putting this in is going to be in the shade by 2 o'clock. It's probably not going to get as much sun as it would like to stay very full, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of pruning on it, and I'll do that each year after the flowers are on it. I'll be sacrificing the red berries later in the fall. Probably just something I'm going to have to live with every year, because otherwise I think it's going to end up really stretching out and not be quite as good of a screen as I want. So each year, sometime around the 1st of June, after the flowers are gone, I'll just take maybe a foot off the top of it really quickly, and that will produce some new growth on the inside of it and fill it back in. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you need something that looks like an informal screen, a leatherleaf viburnum or this variety Cree, I think there's one called Nantucket that would also be a good choice for that. I think it gets a little bit bigger, but these are just great low maintenance evergreen plants that don't have a formal shape to them. That I think could work in a lot of landscapes. So thank you very much again for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for future videos.